So the starter on the motorcycle is it makes a funny noise. It's either it drags a bit or it makes noises afterwards after the bike is started. So let's get an example of that quickly. You'll see like that it doesn't start. It disengages the solenoid. So once it starts, it's all right, but we're gonna have to fix that noise that it makes on the starter. Okay, so the start on the left-hand side of the motorbike is actually really simple. It's not that difficult to remove at all. You only need a couple of tools. So what I'm going to use here today is I'm going to use a 4mm Allen key. I'm going to use a 6mm Allen key and a 13mm wrench. That is all I need for now. So to start with, in the front here, there is a 4mm bolt. It's an Allen key bolt. So I'm just going to loosen it like so. And then turn it out, put that somewhere where it doesn't get lost, and then the cover basically only slides a slight bit backwards and then clips out. Now because there's a 12-volt socket in here, you just need to unhook this. Now there's only two clips which you press on either side and it basically just clips out, and then you can put the cover aside like so. Okay, so after you've removed the cover and put it one side, you can put this socket of the 12-volt plug one side out of the way, and you can also plug out the solenoid exciting wire that engages the solenoid. You can plug that out and put it one side as well. Now the next part you need to be a slight bit careful of, because this point over here of the starter motor, the top nut over there and the cable, that is a permanent 12-volt point, so it does contain 12-volt. Ideally you would want to disconnect the battery beforehand, but because the battery is underneath the tank and you need to loosen it and lift it and so on, it's a bit easier just to isolate this wire. Now I'm going to loosen it with a 13mm wrench, but you also need to be careful not to, once you put the wrench on there, let the wrench touch any part of the motorcycle, any metal part, especially of the starter motor or the motorcycle. So I'm going to put it on there while not letting it touch anything, and I'm going to loosen the nut. Once the nut is loosened, I can basically remove the nut by hand like so, as well as the washer with the locking point to keep this from rotating. Once you tighten it, you can take those off and put them one side as well. Now for this piece of wire, the lug on the end, I've basically got a little tube here. This is a little crimping sleeve, something to, is this plastic or rubber, something to isolate that point with. So I'm going to carefully take it off without letting it touch any metal part of the bike. And I'm going to slip this over the lug on the point there, making sure it completely covers it. Now you can safely put that one side as well anyway, along with all the other wires, and you know that it's safe and it will not touch any metal part of the motorcycle. Okay, so next, to remove the starter motor from the engine, it's only attached with two bolts. It's Allen key bolts. I'm going to use a 6mm Allen key. Now the one is in front here, very easy to reach. I'm going to simply put the Allen key bolt in there and loosen that one, which is very easily. Now the other one is at the bottom. You can't see it from this camera angle, but at the bottom, closer to the engine. Now the way that I found the easiest, if you've only got an Allen key, is to put the longer side of the Allen key onto the bolt and then loosen it with the shorter side. I'll show you how in a moment. Otherwise, if you do have a 6mm Allen key bit with an extension, that is also an easy method to loosen it. I'm going to take the long side, feel the bolt head at the bottom there, put the long side into the bolt head like so. And once the long side is slipped into the bolt head, I'm going to take the 13mm wrench, put it on the short end and loosen the bolt like so. Once the bolt is loosened, you can turn the Allen key to make sure that it's nice and loose. After it's loosened, it's quite easy to actually put your fingertips at the back and simply remove the bolt with your fingertip. Spin it around. It's a fairly long bolt because obviously it has to hold the starter motor securely to the engine to make sure it doesn't vibrate loose or come loose under any circumstances. And once you've spun it out with your fingertips, like so, you'll see there the bolt is. You can put this one side as well. Now the one on top obviously does come out easier. You simply insert the Allen key or the Allen key bit, and you spin it around like so, and it comes out quite easily once again, like so, and you can put that bolt to one side as well. Now the starter motor, you can see is loose now, and you give it a slight wiggle and it should simply slide out of the engine. And now we can take the starter motor into the garage and we can start taking the cap off and start repairing the problem. Okay, so I put the visor in, or I put the starter in my visor and he tightened it a slight bit, and just to keep it in place. Now, in order to take off this top shell or the casing of the bike, I'm going to need two TX bits. The one is a TX25 and the other is a TX20. So basically I'm going to put in the TX25 first, loosen 3 of the TX25 bolts around the main starter shaft, like so, and then the one TX20 on the solenoid side here, loosen that one as well. And just tighten this a slight bit more, there we go. And then simply unscrew all of them like so. Put the bolts safely aside so they don't get lost. Take out all 3 of these as well. Just be sure to note that these 3 bigger bolts do have washers, so make sure to take out the washers as well so that they do not fall out somewhere along the assembly or disassembly process and get lost. So just be mindful of that as well. See, all 3 of them does have a washer, or do have a washer. There we go. All 4 bolts taken out, the 3 big ones and the 1 smaller one, and the 3 larger washers as well. And thereafter, the casing basically just slips off the top side, and we can put that one side. It is a bit dirty. We'll clean that in a moment or two. Now, this part over here, if you pull this up, I can feel there's a slight bit of resistance. So this is a bit dirty, and it does need a bit of lubrication and cleaning. So let's firstly take this out of the vise, like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a plastic bowl, put the tools aside, take a plastic bowl like this, and basically with some brake cleaner I'm going to spray the brake cleaner on all the moving parts, keeping the starter upside down because I do not really want the fluid to run into the starter motor itself. Same with the solenoid, clean that up a bit. The point of the shaft where it goes into the bushing of the casing, we're going to clean that a bit as well. From all sides, spray it nicely. Once you've sprayed it, only move it up and down a slight bit, like so, to make sure that the brake cleaner goes in everywhere. And you can actually see this moving a lot smoother already just with that little bit of brake cleaner. I'm going to press this in, and once it's been pushed out all the way, spray some brake cleaner over there as well, and then give it a moment to dry. We're going to let this stand for about 5 to 10 minutes just to let it completely dry. The brake cleaner does dry quickly, so once that is dried, we'll lubricate this thing and reassemble it. It's been about between 5 and 10 minutes and it has dried now, so the brake cleaner has evaporated and it is nice and clean now. So what I'm going to do now is take a slight bit of grease. You don't need to apply too much, just a little bit on the point here, and this is obviously where the point goes into the bushing of the casing. We're going to clean this as well. I'm going to spray this with brake cleaner in a moment as well before we put this back, and obviously let that dry as well. I'm going to put some grease on the pin point there. After that part, on the inside of the starter motor, I'm going to put some grease at the bottom there, and I'm going to obviously pull this up so that the grease can reach all those nice grooves and splines on the bottom there as well. So let me take some grease for there as well, and grease up the bottom side properly like so. Make sure you grease it all the way around so that it's nice and lubricated. Don't put on too much grease, only just enough so that it's properly covered. If you put on too much, it's just going to attract all the dust, like from the clutch and dirt and so on, that flies into it. And you can already see that it's nicely moving, nice and smooth. I'm only going to put a slight bit of grease on the solenoid shaft as well at the bottom, where it slides in and out. Very little, only a little bit. And you can see that this is moving a lot smoother at the moment already. So that is brilliant. Once that is greased, I'm going to put that together now. Right, so the casing, you can see I've also cleaned that a slight bit, especially on the inside with some of the brake cleaner. And once again, this is going to simply slip over the main thing like this. Let's turn the starter motor around again so you can see the front side properly, like this. We'll tighten that up. And there where the shaft goes through the bushing, it's now also slightly lubricated, so that would also now nicely slip over. Now all that's left to do is put back the 4 bolts, put the small one in there. Okay, so once you've put in the smaller one, you'll see that of the 3 bigger bolts, there is one that is shorter than the other 2. Now the shorter one does come in the front side over here, like this. And the 2 longer ones goes in the back of the starter, like that. Now obviously the shorter one will not work at the back, the longer one will work in front. So very important to put those in the right place. I'm going to tighten these by hand then, evenly and around, all around. I'm going to tighten it all the way down and insert them almost to their maximum point, like this. Not forgetting about the smaller one over there, like that. And once they're nicely in, I can then tighten them to the appropriate tightness. Don't over tighten them. This is an aluminium casing and you might break something, so just to the recommended specs. Tighten all 3 of the other ones as well. And once they're all tightened, you'll see that the whole shaft, or the bendings and everything, moves nice and smoothly. So this is now ready to be reinstalled onto the motorcycle. So let's go put it back. Okay, so putting it back is pretty much just the reverse of taking it out. So I'm not going to bore you too much with all the details there. The only thing that I might mention once again is be careful not to pinch any of the wires between where the starter engages onto the engine casing. And also once again, just remember to not have the live wire touch any part of the motor vehicle, any metal part. So let me fast forward this quickly and I'll quickly insert this or install it back in. Alright, so that is everything installed back into place. So let's have a look and see if this did the trick. Alright, so let's switch the motorcycle on again. It's still in neutral, so let's hear what the starter does this time. Look at that, immediately it starts without any sluggish, without any drag or anything. Let's try it again. Beautifully. Absolutely wonderful. The bike starts instantly every time now without any problem, without any drag or anything of the starter motor. So I would say that was a big success. If you did like this video and you would like to see more of these, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. If you also want to support my channel, please have a look at the super thanks icon down below. Until next time, thank you very much, guys.